Okay, so so this is part 5. Great. 5 parts. So Pauline Hanson hates everyone. And she's a jealous person who's expressing her fear at genuinely standing up for the oppression that she's experienced by putting down other people or making jokes about genuine situations of oppression. At no point in the Oppression Olympics cartoon did it actually address the ways in which males are oppressed at all. It just pointed out that if you have been oppressed in any capacity, you get special treatment, and the men don't, so they're going to get jealous and do something stupid that's not in your best interest. And so a transgender person is nothing more than a jealous man who's trying to compete against other oppressed people for sympathy-seeking votes. Okay, so makes you wonder what Elon Musk is then. Anyway, bad joke. Right? Okay, yeah. Okay, so if you're looking at it like that, okay, okay, let's look at Pauline Hanson's sort of attention-seeking behaviour. Now, whilst it's true that anyone that expresses any sort of public sphere activity such as this could qualify as someone who may or may not be attention-seeking, and maybe there is a particular type of attention seeking which is sort of like a sort of masked type behaviour. It's not direct. It's sort of almost intellectually dishonest, or actually intellectually dishonest. It comes in the form of kowtowing and discriminatory practices. That is the role of the conservative woman. Okay, without being rude, the left-wing agenda is not necessarily liberating for women either, but the conservative agenda has absolutely no place for women in it that would qualify as genuinely liberating for her, because the conservative agenda is that you can only benefit if someone else is worse off. If you look at the actual policies that get done and the ideas that they're providing, that's what it actually means. Any benefit for someone who's been discriminated against is obviously bad for someone else. Wokeism is a bad idea because a whole bunch of people heard the word feminism but never actually studied it, and subsequently started doing man-hating as opposed to a genuine discussion about the ideas of patriarchy and how it relates to the oppression of men and therefore the oppression of women. So, on that subject, Pauline Hanson has never done a misogyny speech that we are aware of. When Lydia Thorpe was standing up to Senator Van, she was genuinely nervous, in a similar way that Sarah Hanson Young was genuinely nervous, and Pauline Hanson was sitting there actually looking like, believe it or not, a concerned older woman. Okay? Miss Hanson is full of paradoxes. She's a paradoxical character, because if you look at some of her behaviour or her body language when she's not talking, when she's not doing a stunt, when she's not, doing One Nation policies or whatever, and you just watch her when she's quiet, then you're seeing a completely different person. She's a troll. Okay? If you want to be emotionally honest and intellectually honest about Pauline Hanson, she's a fucking massive troll. Okay? Her job is to rile up the pundits who are ignorant and uneducated and haven't really thought things through, and try and make out like they're thinking ones. Okay? While she's sitting there laughing her ass off because she's just another person who feels superior and smarter to other people by baiting, starting flame wars like a troll. And so perhaps what Pauline Hanson really wants to do but has yet to do, is to give her own misogyny speech in Parliament, to talk about all the times that Pauline Hanson was called KFC. Okay? It would seem unbelievable, wouldn't it, that Miss Gillard, who started her career in federal politics at more or less the same time as Pauline Hanson, albeit in the House of Representatives and from a different party, would have copped so many comments about if her carpet matches the drapes and whether or not she was KFC's big red box, because there's a shit ton of meat in there, and once you put your fingers in, they come out greasy, you know. And if you heard that as a sly against that woman's private parts, you'd be correct. That was in fact the intent of the people that came up with stuff like that. So when Miss Hanson experienced those things over the last 30 years or so, she didn't stand up to it. She never stood up in Senate or on the TV and said she does not want to have her carpet commented on. You shouldn't be thinking about her carpet, okay, just because you can see her drapes. Like, she never once called them up on any type of misogynistic ranger abuse. She never once said thank you to Tim Minchin for his song. She never once stood up for the women who stood up against misogyny in Parliament. What she did was she sat there and looked like a concerned older lady on Lydia Thorpe, and then went on Sky News and badmouthed her and played the race card. Like a fear-mongering, fearful, jealous old bitch who is jealous of other women that they have the courage to stand up when they are personally attacked. Because don't you forget that politicians are in fact people. And just the same as Hillary Clinton and Sarah Palin were targeted by 4chan trolls